This episode is powered by Choircast. They're the reason that we're still in the game, telling stories about other survivors that surprise a little harder than a blindside. So if you like your podcast spicy, unpredictable, and just a little bit messy, well, thank Choircast. They gave us the flint, and we set the jungle on fire. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. We are so excited to be here with the second episode of 2026 with my guest co-host, the lovely Courtney Yates. Everybody, we're so happy you're here.
As the runner-up of Survivor China, whenever Todd can't perform his duties as winner, I have to step in. Yes. So I'm covering for him while he makes Christmas for all of the Survivor fans.
Yes.
And I am so excited because joining us today is founding member of the Wine and Cheese community, Brian Corridan. You know him from Survivor Guatemala. I know him from New York. We all know him from Eliza's house, you know.
I've been there. I've been to those parties when I'm in town, which isn't much, but yeah. Brian, I'm looking forward to having you on because you are one of my favorite people. And I mean that sincerely. And my kids met you the last time we were in New York, and they agree. They're like, he is one of our absolute top favorites that we've met. So
super mutual. I've said this since I met you almost 20 years ago, Leslie. Like, this is a really long time that we've all been in this circle here between Guatemala and China. And you just exude this aura of sincerity. And I've always appreciated that about you. So when you give a compliment, I believe it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. I paid him to so I'll send you a check later. No, just kidding.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Venmo.
Venmo. Okay, great. Listen, we do this fun little segment every time. We're going to get into your story, Brian. I promise you guys, we're going to totally grill him and ask him all the questions. But first of all, we like to let the fans shine a little bit. We do a segment called The Fans Have Spoken, and we like to share a little voicemail that one of the fans have left. And so today we are going to hear from an adorable girl named Delilah. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Delilah. I'm 17 years old, and being a Survivor fan changed my life. My bed is a shelter, so I actually sleep on the floor, and I have a t-shirt with 24 signatures from all the Survivor players I've met hanging in my room. I also have a list of all the Survivor players I've talked to on Zoom or gotten a cameo from, or talked to on Instagram Live, or even DM'd on Instagram. Andrew Belkey has even ridden my horse and been to my house, which is crazy. I couldn't sob. It was crazy. I feel so bad for her. When I have a Survivor event or watch party coming up, it gives me something to look forward to. In school, when we have to write a project or do an essay, mine is always about Survivor. I feel known to the Survivor community, and I haven't even played yet. Anytime someone asks me what my plan is after school, I always say to get famous from Survivor. I'm getting a puppy, and I'm going to name her Madeline after the Enel Adam tribe in Caramellan, which is named after Malcolm's mom. It's his mom's name spelled backwards. I love Survivor so much and truly believe that I'm the biggest fan. Survivor has taught me valuable lessons about strategy, relationships, and personal growth. The players have become my biggest role models and people I look up to and try to be. I'm better equipped to face whatever challenges life throws my way, and for that, I'm forever grateful for Survivor.
Oh my goodness.
I get it. I get it, Delilah. I think that was like a voicemail I would have left in 2005. So I get it.
That is very appropriate. Brian is one of the encyclopedic super fans. We love that quality in a person because I certainly do not possess that. And, you know, Todd won, I believe he won his superlative was most likely to be on Survivor or something. And then he did it and he won. So Delilah.
Yeah.
Here for it. I wrote essays about Survivor in high school. My philosophy class senior year, we had to each pick a philosopher and write an essay about it. And I picked Machiavelli. Like exclusively because of Survivor. I was like, I can use Survivor in a Machiavelli essay. So I get it. Yes.
I think that's women though. But like back then, they probably thought you were creepy.
Well, you know, I feel like trendsetter is the word I want to use, maybe.
Okay. Innovation.
That's beautiful. I absolutely am just like blown away by how many voicemails, like literally I have dozens to choose from that people are leaving, and they're all just people just raving about the show and how it's changed their life, and it's deepened relationships. It's given them, fodder to start conversations with people and help them to be more socially aware. And but like I think that part that she said, these people are my idols. These are the people I look up to. I mean, that's something to keep in mind if you're ever going to do Survivor. Like people are watching. They want to see how they might play the game. And sometimes the way we react and do things out there, even though human and kind of very fallible, it can be quite the life lesson. So very cool. Love hearing from her.
Yeah, it's true that you see it at the Survivor events too, the groups of people brought together, and how it is a place for people to kind of have a conversation starter. It just brings people together, and then they're like, who's your favorite player? What's your favorite season? Who's the worst winner?
Yeah.
And people open up more than I think they're probably able to in a lot of other parts of their life. So I know it does it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I just came back from an event, the one down in Florida, and I was with some of the fans, and literally they brought me to tears. Because so many of them, it's funny, you don't realize how many people are watching what you're doing, even just online as a Survivor player. And so many of them would come up to me in tears and just talk about their faith journey and how inspired they are by what I'm doing. And, I don't get a lot of love, a lot of love for what I do. A lot of people are mad at me, and I get it, whatever, they're scared. But to hear what this is actually doing in a positive way to people, it tore my heart right open. And I just fell in love with, I would say probably 10 different people at this event this past week. It was amazing. So you never know.
I also think that speaks to like the endurance of Survivor as a thing. Because like, you're talking about like who's inspired by you. And it's like, I don't know, none of us, I didn't go on there to be inspiring, Like,
oh God, no.
And yet there's a lot of people that are like, they relate to you. And I think the complexity of it all, and like, there's like, you can always sort of like see yourself in someone, Brian, you're like a huge fan, player and fan. So this is the perfect venue for you.
Absolutely. I was one of the OG Super Fans cast. Like before they became like a thing, where it was everybody. It was like the one token person in the cast, and that was definitely me. Actually, Rafe too on my season. But other than that, this OG super fan thing with the encyclopedic knowledge. These days, I still watch the show. I could still probably tell you the order of boots and stuff, but it's just a bit more diverse. That old era, that old school era. Just something about it.
There was a little more grit. There was
gravitas. More exclusive club.
We really are. And okay, so let's talk about your journey, because I'm always so fascinated. Why did you do Survivor? How long did you try out before you were picked?
Yeah.
What was the whole process like?
God, it was so different back then, right?
God, yes.
And of course, it was like plucked from coffee shop in Union Square.
I know. She had Lynn on here. Lynn Spillman was.
Did you really?
Yes, you watched it. It was so good.
Wow. How's Lynn doing? Is there bad blood?
Oh God, no. She's still in casting, just doing other things. But it was so fun going behind the scenes with her and hearing her thoughts on, like, when she cast me and Todd. Like, we didn't even realize she put us together on purpose with Courtney. She knew us would be good for each other. And I'm like, what?
That conflict.
It's so insightful. It was cool.
It's a psychology thing. I would actually, I think in an alternate life, that'd be a fun job to have. I think you also need to be a bit of a sociopath to do the job, because you are picking people and just like, this will create conflict. You're like, this guy's a little crazy. Yeah. But I applied 3 times before I got on. So I
decide to do it. What was when you went, I got to do this?
Yeah, it was May 2000. I missed the premiere. I think like my sister had some sort of concert or whatever, some little sister thing. And so I didn't see the premiere, but we had recorded it, and I'd seen all the news about the show premiering, and I just was really interested in psychology at the time. I was in high school, and I thought I wanted to be a psychologist as a career. And so I thought, what a interesting thing. These real people, because remember back then reality TV was new fairly. I mean, we had Real World obviously, but that never appealed to me to do. I just thought I thought it was like an ultimate challenge. It was mental, physical, social, emotional.
Yep.
And I was like, that'd be very cool. So you couldn't back in those days apply if you were 21.
Mhm.
So it wasn't until I turned 21, my junior year of college, that I was finally able to apply. I had gotten my friends to watch it. I was an RA at school, and my floor's theme was Survivor. Like and I'm like, yeah, I know Courtney. I'm like your nightmare. So in the RA meeting, like in August, when we would sound like, what's our building's theme this year? I was like, I don't know, just spitballing here. What about reality TV? And we each take each floor, because I'm in school in New York, so like the dorm was 12 stories. So I was like, each floor can be a different reality show. And I was like, maybe I'll take Survivor.
What were the other? Can I ask? What were the other shows? Do you remember?
Oh, 100 do I remember? Real World was one. One guy was so anti-reality TV that he insisted that his floor would be Entourage. And I was like, that's not on theme. But
Very
he was like,
early 2000s core though.
a real early 2000s core. So Entourage was one of the floors. Big Brother, Amazing Race, Real World, Fear Factor.
Oh,
The all girls floor was America's Next Top Model.
nice.
Of
Nice.
course. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like some real old school.
But you guys
good
want
old-
the theme, right?
Obvious.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. So yeah, it was no secret that I would like that I like Survivor. Like back then it used to be on Thursday nights. So for those who remember old Survivor, it was Thursday nights because we went up against Friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was the must see
Big
TV.
deal. It was
Mhm,
a big
mhm. Oh yeah, must see TV Thursday nights, NBC. So
Yeah.
CBS counter programmed with
Yeah.
Survivor, and so Thursday nights on my floor would be Survivor night, and we'd watch it. And so I finally turned 21, and I applied, and I did every time I applied, I got to the semifinal stage. Back in that, there were like 60,000 people who applied, and they would call back 500 for regional interviews. Did you still? I mean, I assumed you did this for China, no? Did you?
Yeah, I mean, it was I think they had just stopped doing regional interviews because I just got a ton of calls and then went to LA for 10 days.
Okay. So mine was, you send in your application video, VHS, and I filled out like 14 pages.
Crazy. Like there's so
So
many.
crazy.
What did you do? What was your first one?
Yeah. So my video was working every time. So that wasn't the problem. So
Right.
my video got me, I was a semifinalist for Vanuatu, for Palau, and then finally got on to Guatemala. And then each time I was getting to that stage of 500. So it was in New York. I just took the subway down to CBS Studios, and my video was cocky Ivy Leaguer.
Nice.
So I was just like boring white kid from Connecticut. I didn't really have like a hook. And so I was just like, oh, I'll play up like Ivy League. So I wore a Columbia t-shirt. I was like filmed in front of a bookshelf. The whole time I was just like, oh, I'm real smart. I'm so smart. I was valedictorian and I'm at, Columbia. And really just was trumpeting this city Ivy League kid just to kind of catch their attention, because I did think I needed to stand out and I needed some sort of hook. And then, so that was working. I filled in my application, everything in it was just like really catered to that same stereotype. What was your favorite color? It wasn't blue. It was like deep teal,
Nice.
It's just real obnoxious, real obnoxious stuff.
Do you remember what you said to the question of what's the craziest, or what would you do for $1 million? What would you not do?
Oh, I do. It's a very, I said I would not defile a nun, was what I wrote on.
Nice.
I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't.
But I wouldn't. That's the line.
That's the line. The line. Yeah.
For $1 million. Nice.
Yeah. So that was what I wrote there. I watermarked my paper with like very light gray, like you will pick me, you will pick me. And so I like printed that out first, and I printed the application on it. Yeah, I went like, this was like my it was like a full-time job. I was like, I'm getting on this show.
I get it.
It worked. And it worked. And also I believe probably the handsomeness
Oh,
of the video.
How adorable.
Yeah. Oh man, that you want to get into psychology. That's probably the biggest burden I bring for the show. But that's later in the podcast. Stay
Okay.
tuned.
Yes.
Um,
Guys,
We'll get
don't go anywhere.
we yeah. So I was getting to that stage of 500. So there, at the studios, I think they were very quickly able to sniff out that I was not really that. And so I left each of those interviews for Vanuatu and for Palau thinking like, I don't know how well that went. Like, I think I need to push a little further. So the third time that I got the call back, I was like, okay, you got to do something different in this in-person interview because they've called you 3 times. Like your application, they like it. They like your video. So that's not the problem. I think you're not following through. So I went far. We were at the interview and it was this guy, Adam, was the casting agent. It was different from the woman I had the first 2 times. So I was like, okay, it's a different guy, fresh start. Let's see. And it's like psychological warfare, which I was super excited. I was like, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. I was like, you're playing with the wrong people here. So we were sitting in this room and it was a small black box studio in CBS. I can like still picture it. There were 3 chairs. It almost looked like a broom closet. And this guy, Adam, and then 2 other people there firing questions at you, very much like, oh, what would you do with this situation? What's this? Da, 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 da. Really personal questions of legal accident, job interview. And ultimately they're trying to get under your skin. So he's like, oh, you're just like a city kid. You'll never make it on Survivor. And I said, you can try to insult me all you want. I'm not insultable. I don't believe in being insulted. I have my insult theory. He's like, what is that? And I was like, so my insult theory is you can't insult me because an insult is either true or false. So if you insult me and it's false, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. So if you're like, Brian, you're dumb, I'm like, no, that's a you problem. You've incorrectly assessed the situation. I'm not dumb. Like, I'm not going to get insulted by someone that's not even true. That's ridiculous. And then if an insult is true, what right do I have to be offended by it? Because if an insult is true, I have 2 options. Either I can try to change that thing about myself if it bothers me, or if that thing is unchangeable, I have to learn to accept that thing about me. So if you said like, I don't know, Brian, your like ears are big. It's like, okay, well, my options are to like pin them back through surgery or just learn to be okay with that. So then I say, and this is where I was like, you're doing something wrong in these interviews. You have to go further. So I say to this man, Adam, I look him dead in the eye and I said, so if I were to call you a little dumpy, you don't really get to be offended by that.
Nice. Nice.
Courtney,
Nice.
Courtney.
And that's when they were like ready. Because just waiting for you to develop. They were like, he's not ready yet. He needs to be, we have to like, we gotta, yeah.
The way we responded to that is so how we played the game.
I watched you both.
And I was like,
inside.
I would never.
Inside, I was Leslie, but outside, I was Courtney. So I was like,
A good combo. I mean, really.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
Right here, listen, you gotta, because you're right. They're trying to provoke you. So it's like, oh, 2 can play at this game.
2 can play this game. And I was like a 22-year-old, like a kid. But it threw him off a little bit. And
Yes.
I'm holding, my stare, holding my posture and my poise, but inside I'm like,
Yeah.
so like I leave and I'm like sweaty palm, I'm like shaking, but I'm like, okay, you tried.
And it worked.
And then it worked. He called me, and when he called me, he's like, the best thing you did in that interview was call me dumpy. And I was like, oh, bro, like, stop self-esteem. But what had happened was his grandmother, like that week, had just told him he was putting on like too much weight. So I had like really, really pulled it a thread.
Heat seeking. You see, we're trained from birth in New England to do this to each other. We really are. Like, if you can make it like out of your family, like by the time you're in college, you're ready.
You're ready.
Okay.
But he said, he was like, yeah, he said it was, he's like, it was great for me too, because it showed my casting, like my bosses, that I could be objective and I could still put someone through. So it was like great. It was a moment. It worked for me.
Yeah.
because he wasn't salty. Anyway, Adam was great. He coached me through the rest of the process, and then it was the 10 days in LA. Now he's behind me. Now he's your advocate.
Yeah. Once they love you, they're your friend. They definitely
God,
appreciate you.
so fun though. I love those 10 days in LA were a blast. Locked in a hotel room. I had to tell, because it's all shrouded in secrecy. So I had to tell my college roommate, like, oh, I have a medical thing. Don't ask any questions. I'll be gone for 10 days. That's very embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it. So don't ask me anything. So he called me one nut for the rest of the semester. So
Was he surprised then when he saw you? Did you tell people before, or did you wait
No.
until you were on TV?
I did wait until I got back. I told my family, my boss, and my best friend Jamie. But other than that, I didn't tell anybody. And so let them find.
More fun because like
Yes.
like now it's like you're like you haven't checked your Instagram story in this many days, so this is this, and everyone is like there's just the surveillance state. You can't do anything,
Yeah.
But yeah, the good old days.
Did you know when you were finished in LA that you were getting picked for sure? Or did they give you a percentage? They did that.
They told me I was in the top 20 and they gave me all my shots. So that was the last.
Vaccinations is when that's when
the vaccinations. I'm like,
they
you're
were
paying
like
for
giving
this.
me vaccinations, and I was like, I think I'm going to China. Like I don't know what happened.
So you knew you were going to China. Okay, we didn't know. I didn't find out it was Guatemala until the Palau finale when they do the preview of the next season. Because back then they didn't film back to back, so they'd filmed 10, and at the finale of Palau, the reunion, they said like next season we're in Guatemala, and that's when I found out it was Guatemala.
Did you know it was China, Leslie? Did you know?
I did. They told us in a meeting. Mark Burnett called us in, right like at the end of our 10 days in LA. And we went to CBS studio. He sat us down in a boardroom and he made this big announcement. And Todd knew. Todd was like, he goes, does anybody know where we're going? Todd goes, we're going to China.
How do you know?
Todd knows everything.
I knew because Lynn told me at the coffee shop. She was like, we're going to China. I'm like, who cares? What are you
I want palm trees and coconuts. What do you mean we're going to China? I
thought that was a strange thing. But
we have all that in common. We did not have a nice, beautiful island.
They used to talk about Guatemala because when we would complain, they were like, well, Guatemala was also bad. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Okay.
Yeah, not cold comfort.
When you found out it was Guatemala, were you excited, or were you wanting like a South Pacific island? Or
I would have probably done better on a season with water. I'm a good swimmer. It's my element. I liked the cultural aspect. I was excited. I was like, oh, that's cool. The Mayan ruins, the jungle, what an opportunity. I think I would have fared better with water challenges.
Did you have, so you didn't have water challenges like swimming?
No, there was the crocodiles. I can see, yeah, that'd be bad for me to wish for water challenges. We had some like boat stuff, but there were crocodiles. We literally were not allowed in the water until we were on that pool. Yeah.
That's old Survivor. That's old.
Yeah. No water at all? No.
It was a lake. There was a lake, but the lake was literally crocodile infested. And we would kind of like sit by the shore to try to get relief, but they had to bring in a reptologist because we were really not heeding the advice of like, you cannot go in the water. Wow. And the reptologist was like, no, you guys aren't understanding. Like, you can be sitting on the shore and the crocodile will see you. And like, it's game over.
You in.
Yeah, drag you in and spin you and like pull you under.
You couldn't swim anywhere?
No.
Wow.
But there's in one of the episodes, like at Nakum, they do like there's an episode where Brandon and Danny and maybe like Blake, like they do take the boat out and go in the water, which was just like truly fundamentally stupid, but
it's like suicidal. Cool.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's tough times on.
Yeah.
Survive. Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you go on Survivor. Now, but right before the show, there's that time where you guys are all together, but you're not allowed to talk. Were you making eyes with anybody? Did you connect with anybody? Did you pick up on anything? I love hearing.
Yeah, that's such a fascinating time. I remember arriving at the hotel in Miami and seeing like Judd and seeing who from casting was there, right? Because you have all your eyes on the casting people. And like one of the final interviews, Jeff was trying to undermine me as he does. And we had all taken the IQ test and blah, blah, blah. And he was holding up a sheet of paper, right? And so he was like, this with the sheet of paper, but he was in front of the big window in the presidential suite. So I could see through the paper, right? It was translucent. And I could see that I was the second person listed out of the 50 at finals. And he didn't know that I could see that. So he was like, oh, you're not that smart as you think you are. Like, look where he's on this list, like trying to psych me out. And I was just like, okay, man, you can try to undermine me all you want, but like, I know I'm smart. Like, who's going to be smarter than me? Like the guy in the cowboy hat? Come on. And then the guy in the cowboy hat is cast, and that's Brandon.
Oh, yes.
So you see the people from casting, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so interesting that this person made it, this person didn't. I really thought, like, and some people from my cast ended up on other shows. There was a guy who ended up on like Pirate Master. A guy who ended up winning Amazing Race was on DJ.
Wow. That's cool.
So yeah, so you're just like sizing people up that whole week in LA. So when I got to Miami, it was less about like sizing them up there and more like who made the cut, like who's here. And that was fun. And then
We have to acknowledge the Pirate Master reference because again, deep cut.
Yeah.
yeah, early 2000s, this is like 2000s core. Mm-hmm.
People don't even know that was a thing. They're like, wait, what? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's so
You know what else? It's what's it called? Kid Town. Remember that? That was
Yes, Kid Town.
I tell people about Kid Town. Like, what are these that I need like Survivor fans listening to this, you guys that are academically inclined, can we get some like think pieces on early 2000s deranged like shows and how like they didn't care about our safety or welfare and even that
At
of
all.
children?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There was a children's version of Survivor called Endurance.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was like a team show. I think Glenn Powell was on it as a kid. Someone can look that up. Yeah, but yeah.
Interesting. So, okay, you guys get to Guatemala. They divide you into tribes. How did they do? I can't remember. I should have watched it again before I talked to you because I did watch it.
It was all done before camera, so you wouldn't. It was all we got there, and in the day that the game was starting, they passed out buffs and separated us. So it was all done beforehand. Our tribes were really imbalanced. I mean, it's like pretty common knowledge that Yasha got no strength. It was me, spindly little me, Rafe, former quarterback Gary, but he was like 50, which again is young. 50 is young. It's young. 50 is young. 50 is young. He was the oldest on our cast. And then we have like Lydia, Morgan, Brianna. Like,
oh yeah.
They were jacked with Danny and Blake and Brandon and Judd. So we're just kind of like, oh, we're the weak team.
Oh, no.
That's who felt, honestly.
Who felt?
John who are on our
the yellow team from our
team.
Oh, John who? Yeah.
Our tribe was stacked. We had all the strength. We really did.
Yeah. You guys, well, all you needed was James and you were good. Yeah.
Pretty much. But we got him and John Rivera.
Yes, right. Courtney's favorite, John Rivera.
Anyway,
so yeah, we were split off, and then they brought us out to the temple, and Stephanie, Bobby, John, and then we had our 11-mile hike through the jungle. It was our opening to the show.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's mean. Is that the longest hike that they've had, or was there?
Oh, 100%.
11 miles. And to what? To nothing. To Survivor. To like one knife, a machete, and a walk. Did you get
correct
a walk or a pot? I guess we were in China.
We had a walk. We had a pot. We had a clay pot. And actually, we didn't. Did we have a machete? No, because I don't think they had steel. We had to live like the Maya lived, so we could only have access to like clay pot, mortar and pestle. That was it, and corn instead of rice.
Bro. See, a lot of this has fallen away from the show as it exists now. Now I feel like it's like Legends of the Hidden Temple on Nickelodeon.
Oh my God. Yes, the purple parrots. Yes.
But anyway, so that is horrible. Now, did everyone have a good attitude on your 11-mile hike, or was
no?
Tell us everything.
You know, there's just a lot of like I think everyone did want to prove themselves. One thing I will say for my cast is we really had a tough cast in terms of it was Guatemala was a very hard season, and nobody was going to quit. Yeah, it was a tenacious group of people, but like it sucked. I mean, that first night we had to stop. Production had to stop us because it was just literally pitch black and we couldn't go any further in the jungle. It wasn't a nature reserve in the sense that there were like hiking trails, right? You know, so you weren't walking on a path. You were like, oh, They gave us a crude compass and a painted map on a tablet. And they were like, this way. And we're like, no, can't be that way. That's like a thicket. And they're like, this way. We're like, oh, so through the thicket, through the thicket. And then it just got pitch black and we just had to plant there for the night.
You had to sleep there? You had to sleep like on the road? Like to the oh my, forget it. I would have been like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah. And there was just, like there was also competition because it was a race. So you had to sort of balance. And Lydia was very slow. Bless her heart with her little legs, just 4'11". And
Did you have to carry stuff? Were you carrying?
we had to. Anything we wanted to have at camp, we had to carry from that original pyramid. So there were those 10-pound bags of corn. We had to get any fresh fruit we wanted, water. So you were carrying all that, your tribe flag. We had this like huge unwieldy tribe flag that you also had to like maneuver through. There was a rope bridge. There was a Tom Sawyer raft at one point.
Like before it starts. That's just for funsies.
That was for funsies.
That was for funsies.
Yeah. It was awesome. I kind of loved it. I was like, let's do it. Yeah.
Well, you like, because you're a fan. You're like, I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm doing what I wanted to.
I'm surviving. Yeah.
Flashback to when people found out that, because everybody obviously knew that you really loved Survivor, and then they found out you were on it. Like, did you have like the best time? Like, watching?
It was so great. I Survivor for me was an overwhelmingly positive experience. So I didn't come away with the kind of trauma that, even though I got voted out pre-merge. Leslie, you get it.
I get it. It sucks.
But I loved the experience. So I was like doped up on adrenaline the whole time. I was super excited to be there. I was super excited to watch it. Editors were pretty kind to me, but getting to like tell all my friends and family, a lot of whom figured it out while I was gone, because my cover story was that I was on a college graduation like trip to Peru. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like off the grid. But like I had just started my job, the job that I actually still currently have right now, days before leaving. And the short version is I had to stay with my family in Long Island, my aunt and uncle, because it was closer to work and I didn't have an apartment at the time. And after I left, they like checked the computer history of the room that I was in. I mean, it was like Survivor filming dates. like didn't use a private browser. I don't even know if they had them in 2000.
Because you're surrounded by smart people, so they just are like, oh, let me just like.
Yeah. So like they figured it out, and like when I got back at the airport, my family was there with like my sister's best friend who had been included in at that point. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
That's so fun. I love that. And I feel like back then too, it's like it was such a small group of people that got to be Survivor players. You know, now there's like the family has increased. Like you're a very large community now.
And we welcome them, but we are the OGs.
Welcome them, and everyone is very valid in their experience. And you know, like it's fun, but it's like, I just remember, you know, it's like, it's different in the age of social media, like different than how it used to be when it was like, no, it's on at 8 p.m. and like, you have to watch it. And like, you know, and it was like kind of a big deal to be on TV. Right.
Well, talk about Delilah. Her voicemail talked about wanting to go be famous on Survivor. And, you know, for Delilah, I would say a couple big cautionary words about that. We were on the show in an era where we were no longer famous for being on Survivor, right? Those first 2-3 seasons, you really did become pretty famous.
Yeah.
But by the time season 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 roll around, like we weren't famous because we were on the show by any stretch, but we all existed before the social media boom. So now these, like, especially like the Big Brother players or the Love Island players who just amass these insane followings. So we were really in that pocket of time where fame was not the end game of going on Survivor.
No, it was definitely more just like, I don't know, for me, it was like, oh, this will be funny. Like
experience and potentially money. Yeah.
And then, but it's still kind of, I don't know, I thought it was cool to like just be in the, and now I think too, a lot of people, they do just want to kind of be in the community. Like, you know, they want to be, and, but it's so big now that like, I feel like our fans are the community.
I know.
Like, you know,
there are people at these events that I'm like, I've seen you, I associate you more with Survivor. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I've met people in the, you know, who've done the 40s, and I'm like, I have no idea who they are. And I feel so bad, but like I didn't watch for a few years just because I was doing my own little thing. And now I'm back to watching it, but it is crazy. I'm like, I'll be talking to somebody and not even know, are you a fan or were you on the show? I don't want to ask because I don't want to be rude.
I know. It goes both ways though, because it's largely why I've stopped going. They have, first of all, they don't know that Guatemala was the season. Second of all, they definitely don't know who the 7th person voted out of Guatemala. So I'll show up at these things and I'll just be like, oh, you don't, yeah, okay, no. And then you don't want to be like this weirdo who's like, well, I was on the show too. And you're like, no, I'm just not going to go. Like, you have your fun. This is your thing now. Like your moment, you enjoy. I'm happy for you, but like, I'd rather just stick to my little like wine and cheese.
That's
intro
what I
movie.
feel.
I know. I'm like,
That's
I'm
why
right.
with, Tina, I'm like, I feel like I'm like, well, are you in wine and cheese community or Leslie or Todd or Sandra? Like, I'm so like, that's like my little, that's our table at the family reunion.
Yes, exactly. And we're happy to be at the reunion and we want there to be many tables, but like, this is my comfort zone now.
And that's where Eliza comes into this because she's the mayor, right? Like she really just like knows everyone, and then we all can just like kind of be like,
yeah,
Eliza.
Right, exactly. That's how I know. If I've met anyone in the past 10 years, it's only because Eliza has invited them in. And yeah,
That is how I actually met you. I went with Todd to Eliza's Micronesia party or whatever, and she came running up and was like, "You should have said yes to Micronesia because then we would have had more people from New York." And blah, 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 blah. And I was like, "Whoa!"
it's intense energy. Yeah.
And then that's it. I was like, I love her, and you were like right with her. Like,
Yeah, we love like this. Mm-hmm.
That's so fun. It's so fun to make friends this way. And I still, it's funny. I was only on 3 episodes, Brian, but I still go to these events because I don't have a wine and cheese community here. You know,
you
what I
are
mean?
iconic though, Leslie. You are iconic.
I don't know about that, but
You absolutely are.
Okay. Maybe because I keep doing these things. I'm like, don't forget about me. I'm here. See, here I am. But it's really kind of fun because to me, it's like, not only do I get to meet, people who've been on the show who I see, and who maybe I haven't met before, but also the fans. I mean, I think meeting the fans is a highlight, hearing their experience of watching me so long ago and like how that impacted them, or, it's just, it's a really cool community to be in, a very dysfunctional family. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aren't all families a little bit?
Yes, 100%. So Brian, what did you learn about yourself from Survivor? Was there anything like that came to your mind after you're like, dang?
It's so funny. This is where cynical is the wrong word, but I think this is New England upbringing. I just was so confident in myself before Survivor that Survivor, I wasn't going on Survivor to learn. I was going on Survivor because I thought I could win. And I was like, this is a game that I would love to play. I would love to push myself. So when you're voted out and they run you through that kind of debriefing and they're like, well, what'd you learn about yourself? I was just like, nothing. I knew I could do this. Like, you want me to learn something about myself? I already know myself. So I was, I think, very disappointing to them in that aspect that I didn't have this like growth journey on Survivor. I was just like,
you have to. I think some people, it's like you say, it depends on what you're going in with. Like, I personally went in to figure out things about myself and saw things about myself in playing the show that made me want to make some changes. You know what I mean? It's like a mirror being held up to who you really are. And if you're confident in that, and if you feel good about who you are, it's not very revealing. Do you know what I mean?
Once again, this is a New England culture. I feel it's like, I know myself. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't, how dare you
learn about myself?
I wouldn't
That's
do
what
it.
adolescence was for.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny. I feel like there is this,
I love that it's so different for each of us though. You know what I mean? Like I did learn a lot. I've grown a lot. I've used that experience to help me understand other people better. But I didn't realize going in how sheltered I was and how, narrow-minded I was. I had no clue. I just thought everybody saw the world like me. And then when you get pulled out of that and you realize, oh crap, this world is a lot bigger than I ever thought. And I've got a lot to learn. It's very humbling, Yeah.
I will say it does really make your world really big. I think that's something I said in my pandemic Walter Ross thing, that it's like you just have this like huge like acquaintanceship, I guess. I don't know. And like people that you cross paths with that you would never have met or known
Yeah.
of or whatever. And I do think that's possible, like the fandom and the endurance of the show and everything is because there's people who identify with me, there's people that identify with Brian, with Leslie, but then also there's people that identify with like who's the anti-us. I don't know, like Coach
Yeah, I
James.
think some,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like someone at like there's someone for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they do it very intentionally that way, which I think is super cool.
It's a
So-
great show. I mean, it does, and you're right. It really broadens your horizons. You just meet so many people from so many walks of life, and yeah, your social media feed. If you follow people,
on a whole island, and
Mhm.
suddenly you're like, "Can I snuggle you for warmth, stranger?" Like, hello, Christian lady. Yeah, it strips you down to like animal in a certain way. I do think
Mhm.
there's an aspect of being a Survivor player. I'm curious for people who are more recent players, but like I felt like there was a certain level of subhuman that you become as like a contestant. Like you don't have like you're sort of just corralled around and you sort of like check your dignity at the door and like
Yeah.
so it's interesting and I wonder if it's still like that because it's just like the culture around
Yeah.
the culture has changed so much.
Particularly with the Me Too movement and stuff, with the season
clothing.
39, the clothing, yeah, the islands, the idols, with the touching and the issues like that, and this, I respect for contestants, maybe.
Yeah, but you see what I'm
Improve.
saying? It's like I feel like they're kind of treating them like human beings. Whereas like for us, I was like, we're out here and it's like, for example, like, some of the girls, the clothes, it's like here's
Oh
your
yeah, awful.
bikini and some, jean shorts. But this man gets a whole suit with a jacket and a shirt and pants and
Right.
this. And it's just like, well, why is like, like in China, like Jamie didn't have a bra, right? They put that in the whole show. And then I like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
well, and it's like, how is that fair? I don't know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I feel like I see a lot of people have more clothing and
They have a lot of clothes this season.
yeah.
They do appear. I don't think they get bathing suits though, do they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Every time I see them, they're sporting a new jacket or a new.
Yes, or like a cardigan. I'm like, well, that
Yeah.
must be nice. Yeah.
I think it was Charlie and Wine and Cheese that said that. He was like,
Yeah, Charlie did. Yes, yes. Courtney and I have our text chain.
Oh, yes, of course.
Mhm.
So Brian, did anything happen like while you were out there in Guatemala that they didn't show that you were like, dang, I wish they would have shown that?
You're funny. There were just the conversations, right? The things that don't advance a plot. So where you get to kind of know people on a more human level, and those days where you don't have any challenges back then. So you just have this sun up to sundown time where you're just like, oh, I guess we're just gathering firewood and talking to each other. So just like look how Jamie Newton, just like again, a character. I'm like, God, we would never have crossed paths. He was just like, man, a beaver's a weird animal.
and you're just like, now you have like a significant interaction with this person.
And I was like, yeah. Or no, it wasn't beaver. I'm sorry, it was platypus. He's like, platypus is a weird animal. It's like half duck and half beaver. And I was like, well, it's technically a monotremes, which is one of two creatures in Australia that lays like a mammal that lays eggs. This is like Jamie and me, right? But I'm like, the other one's the echidna. And he's like, well, it's like it's a mammal, but it lays eggs. I was like, yeah, it's a mammal, but it does lay eggs. He's like, well, if that's a mammal, then what's a duck? And I was like, it's a bird. That's a bird, Jamie. And it's just like, it's never gonna make it to TV. Plot wise, they gave me more credit than I was due. So I lucked out plot wise. Like the whole Blake thing. I think really the true story there is that just Amy and Gary had like sold me up the river already, and the producers just needed a better plot. And I was I was actively doing that. I did implement that strategy. It's just that it probably wasn't quite the puppet master that maybe they gave me credit for being. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you more credit in your edit than you actually did.
they gave me they like attributed the Morgan boot to me, the Blake boot to me. So I think they liked, I do think that I gave them a lot of coherent narration, which was perhaps lacking from some of my tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they love narrator. They do.
love a
Bobby
narrator.
John, Bobby John had to be sent back one day. He went to a confessional and he was like back within a minute. We're like, what? And he's like, they say I couldn't, I couldn't think. And we're like,
Say
okay.
okay.
So, yeah. So I think that they were just like, Brian, come explain what's happening. Yeah.
And you're easy on the eyes, you know what I mean?
You know, so that's my hang up with Survivor. That's, I think, the thing, because this was back, I think, when the internet was maybe meaner. Like, did it get meaner? I don't know.
So much meaner. Television without pity. Remember? Like, Survivor sucks.
Survivor sucks. So they used to do like contestants' attractiveness ratings, right? And I was on a season with like very attractive people, but especially like Blake literally had modeled, Bobby John had modeled, I think Jamie had even perhaps modeled, Brandon was very good looking. So it was just like regularly like bottom half, like, and I was just like, oh, you really, because I don't have any background of that nature whatsoever. So the show casts a lot of like back then, like the MAFTers, right? The model actors, for MAFTers, right? And so when you're cast as the super fan, you're not fitting the archetype of like really attractive contestant, right? And so, and I was like skinny, but I think it did maybe give me like a bit of a complex of like, oh, I'm not good looking in the internet's eyes. And then I think I sort of overcompensated with a lot of working out over the next like 2 decades.
Well, you told them, Brian, because you're hot.
I got look told, Survivor Sucks 489. Show him or her.
For the young who don't know what Survivor Sex was, there was a term called MACtor, and it was model/actor. And it was usually like kind of a compliment, but also a critique, right? Because usually they were like, fine, you're good looking, but you're also boring.
Right. No substance.
Like the thing. Anyway.
Ryan, I was at the bottom of my list too. And not only that, but they all called me the old lady, and I was 38. So
oh my God.
Yeah, I thought that was like the weirdest thing. They were like,
for my age, are you kidding me? But I was like not young. But I wasn't old, but I was
right.
Them, so it was very.
Not to mention 3 seasons before you, the old women's tribe was like 35 and up.
I know.
Yeah.
Like Suri and Melinda. Yeah, come on.
You have to remember too, this was the 2000s. It was real. People are reminiscing for Y2K, but I honestly think people couldn't take it. Like
not anymore.
Pretty harsh.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, they rake you when you come. I couldn't watch. I couldn't look at Survivor Sucks when I came back, because every time we did, I would start to feel really crappy about myself.
Not me. I used to. Well, I would get a cup of coffee, and that was the first thing I did the day after.
See, I did too. I was like eating it with a spoon until the attractive stuff came out. I was like, oh, that. But like the other comments that were there, I found them funny. But again, like maybe that was like my own info there. I was like, do I think I'm unattractive? Can I work on it? Maybe I should have been gym more. So anyway,
back to the insult theory. You know what though? I don't know.
Storytelling.
It was kind of funny. I used to like it because they're like, oh, she's a like, skinny and this, and I was like, and you're stuck with me, people. You're gonna watch me the whole time.
The whole season.
Yeah, it was fun. But so Brian, let's see. If you would go, let's theoretically, you go back on Survivor, would you go like full, like aggressive, like give us some insight into how you change up your game.
Yeah. I had a dream last night. I think it was prompted by this podcast that I was back on Survivor. They come every now and then where you just
love
like
those dreams.
Anxiety dreams. Yes,
my secret. I love them. They don't give me anxiety. They make me excited.
But then you wake up and you're like, oh, I wasn't back on Survivor. Like, so yeah, if I were to play a game, I do think the new era is just so different. I think I'd have a hard time being as aggressive, like strategically as I was at 22, but I think I would want to. I think I'd just be like ferreted out too quickly, because these seasons they're always just like, oh, you're too smart, you're the big threat. And I think that hampers some really good gameplay from people, because then they just get snipped so quickly, and it forces your hand to kind of like lay low for so long, and then you need a big move for your resume at final 6, and just like this season sucks. So yeah, like I'd want to be like, how can I really like play this game? But I feel like maybe I would just fall into therapist mode, possibly.
Well, that's a good one though, because I feel like people have a lot of
You
feelings.
need a therapist out there. That's
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of, you get the information.
Yeah. But then they
Yeah.
really hold it against you when you turn on them, though.
yeah.
That's true. The betrayal. Do you think that
Mhm.
people are more like, do they respect the gameplay or do they get hurt feelings? Like, where are we? Because that's kind of a
Yes.
a curve. So like, where are we in
On that
feelings?
thing. I think that a lot of the new era players do respect the game. I think a lot of the juries have been rewarding. They want to see that big move. They want to know what you did. There are some interesting juries that have been a bit more like I think maybe the 46's jury, perhaps even the 43 jury were maybe a bit more emotional. But by and large, I would categorize the new era as more game face forward in their jury approach. You're not seeing scathing. You're not seeing like the Corinne scathing, the Reed, the Corinne. You're
They
not
hate
seeing
each
anger.
other anymore.
I know.
Like,
And
you really like it when people like genuinely dislike each other.
it's funny, right? Obviously, America right now is just like a firestorm. And you're just like, yes, kindness is what we need as a country. But like Survivor, I would like a little bit of more meanness.
And like everyone's friends in the end anyway. Like it doesn't
I
matter.
know. Yeah, I
Uh,
like a little.
no, I agree with that. So, okay. So Brian, I'm going to ask you a question because I just think you're going to give me a great answer. So on Survivor, everything is stripped away. It can be a really vulnerable, difficult time for some people. Imagine
the
if
game.
there's, yeah, in the game, but like, imagine if somebody right now is listening and they feel like that in life, like they feel like everything has been stripped away. What advice would you give to them? Because I think there's a lot of people right now going through a lot of stuff, and feeling kind of at the bottom and like everything is gone. What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's a really rough time. It's hard, I think, for there's just a lot of negativity, a pretty relentless stream of it, and it's unpleasant, obviously. I think the worst is feeling alone, and I think that the acknowledgement that you're truly, truly not alone. Even something is done. Sometimes, terrible stuff happened this weekend, and you just see some really abhorrent things said about it online. But then you see just like one tweet that's like, we shouldn't be having to deal with all this. You're like, oh, right, right. There's this like permission to feel that way. Yeah, okay. There are others who feel this way. We are not alone. And that community exists. I think Survivor is a place for a lot of people like this. And we kind of made an allusion to this earlier, where when you're at these Survivor events, you found a common ground, and a lot of the negativity is like, yeah, but here's something positive that I can latch onto. And it is a community. And I
Mhm.
do think that finding that is pretty helpful. It's hard to find that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that community, but whether it is something as trivial as loving a TV show, and just devoting to that. Delilah's call. She's like, there's my role models. It's taught me so much. And when you feel like you don't have love, you don't have family, you don't have friends, you're worried about money, there's just endless things to worry about. But someone else is sharing that too. And if you can find that person somewhere, even if it is, I don't want to say a parasocial relationship that brings issues of its own, of course, but someone to listen, even just for a little bit, goes a long way.
I love that. I knew you'd give a good answer for that. I see a lot of it. I actually got a text from someone today who's like, I can't do this anymore. Existential crisis. Like it's a constant thing. And I fully understand that. Like, I just want people to know that like, whatever you're feeling in this shitstorm we call America, like whatever you're feeling, I think it's very normal.
I 100% permission to feel it. Like, yes, you're right. You're not crazy. You're right. Yes, this is not right. We shouldn't be dealing with this. This is too much trauma for a person to sustain, a species to sustain.
Yeah, it is. It's too much. And so my hope is that people will find other avenues, try to find something in each day that'll bring a smile to your face, even if it is a TV show. Maybe it's a walk with your favorite podcast. This one for by chance.
Yes. And for those who
listening to music that fills your heart, or, just a perspective that's different and new, or, just keep your mind on other things and get offline. I think sometimes we're so online and we're so in the mix that it feels like everything is spinning, but really we've kind of put ourselves there. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I
Yeah,
think for anyone who's not necessarily feeling bogged down, just contribute to the kindness, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. Like, just don't be a dick. Like, am I being a dick? Like, yes, no, like go the no route. Like, just real dichotomy here, fork in the road. Like, just to the degree you can, don't be a dick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to quote you on that one, Brian. That's amazing. Good stuff. So, Brian, what are you up to now? Like, what does your life look like now?
Oh, it's all kind of, it's been a rough year. It has not been my favorite year. My job got, so I've had the same job since I was a sophomore in college. I know, I'm like the one millennial who's never switched careers. Yeah, I do SAT prep. I teach classes and I write materials and I run classes and teach and stuff. And my boss, who's been my only adult boss in my entire life, sold the company back in March. So there's new owners, and it was a sea change for me. And I'm a person who like plants. Like, I have the same friend group from high school. I have the same relationship for 17 years. I'm in the same apartment in New York City since 2006. I like same job since college. I am, I guess, not afraid of change. I know what I like to the point I made before. Like, I knew who I was, I knew what I wanted, and this is what I wanted, and I'm good with it. I don't have an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm like, nope, this is what I do, this is what I like it. So when change is thrust upon me, it's a lot of reflection. Okay, is this right? Do I stay this course? A lot of changes. Are they right for me? What's going on? And now my boss just resigned. So he sold the company but stayed on. And his last day is Friday, this coming Friday. So it's just been a lot of like existential, what's my plan? And then there's the world. So there's a lot of, fortunately I have a good support system. So I'm lucky in that aspect. And I have stability in that context. But yeah, it's just been not my favorite year. So things like this bring me joy. Talking to you, girl.
I do think being a fan of anything, and especially if you're a fan of something popular, that's like getting on the highway of feeling good about stuff.
It's
like
like
if you
ride
like Survivor, there's a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm laughing, Brian, because everything you just said. Brian's an Aquarius for anyone who cares about astrology, and he's a Saturn person. He's like, leave me right here.
I love that you know that.
Yeah,
That makes me so happy. Yes.
That's beautiful. Wow. Thank you. I love talking to you. Every time I walk away with a big smile. And
I'll tell your listeners, I think I mentioned this to you before, possibly, but way back, it must have been, I think actually it was at Celebration in Orlando. We're talking, Leslie, this had to be 2000, China would have been 2008, 7 or 8. So this was probably 2008, 2009. This is a long time ago. But we were in probably Todd's hotel room. Courtney was there, probably Spencer Doom at the time, maybe Token Sheets there. And you were just, as you do, facilitating conversation and bringing people together. And the question you asked was, what is everyone struggling with? And you asked that, and I was just like, what a fascinating question to ask strangers, because it's just such a vulnerable question. It's such an honest question. It strips all the bullshitty niceties of like, so what do you do? What do you like? You're like, no. What are you struggling with? Like, let's get to know each other. And it was just such an interesting question to ask. And I've always remembered that. And that's when I was like, oh, because I was not religious in the slightest, nor am I today. But to be clear, but having watched you on China, I did wonder like, oh, is this someone I'll be able to relate to? This Christian background that I don't have. And you just stripped any kind of stereotype of that personality in just like one quick question. You were so genuine, so kind. You have just always held a rarefied status in my eyes as just someone really special, Leslie. I think you are a really special person.
Oh, stop it.
And I agree with that. And I think I was Leslie's first Survivor friend. So I still
Yeah, 100%. We spent, like you said, Brian, when you're out there and you're like having all these conversations, because there's literally nothing else to do. Courtney and I would always go away together because we didn't really like anybody else. I mean, we like,
So
and
like
it was
no,
true.
go on. But like
We just
we're cold New England people, so it's very hard for us to like really be like, oh, we're like, you're like, and then it's like, oh, you're cool, and it's like, okay, immediate, like this is
Like that, like lock it in. Mhm.
yeah, it's weird. That's the thing I missed the most when I was voted out was those conversations that we'd have for
Yeah.
hours that they didn't show any of. I'm like, damn, some of
Mhm.
that was really interesting
They don't,
stuff. We,
they don't
Yeah.
care. But you know
yeah,
what? We've all been friends now. Like Brian said at the beginning, it's been almost 20 years, you
Mhm.
know, of all of us just together, kind of like showing up at stuff. And, you know, it's like everyone lives these like different lives at different places. And then we
Yeah.
all come together and it's like nothing has happened.
Nothing.
We're
It's
all
just so easy.
So
Mhm.
anyway, I was saying like,
Nice.
well, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I think there was a lot of fear that maybe I did not leave a good impression because of the belief system that was so deeply indoctrinated into me. So hearing that is actually really encouraging for me because I haven't wanted to lose, I don't want to lose myself in trying to be something that a system required me to be. And I feel like I have gotten through that in my life. I'm a survivor. I am.
You're
So
great, Leslie. Mhm.
thank you. I love you. Brian, we are going to be respectful of your time. I know you've got a big day, so we go, but I can't thank you enough for being a part
This
of
is
this
my pleasure.
and
I would
sharing.
talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And
I
it's
think
just,
it's so true. It's so true.
it's so
It's like a
easy.
yap fest.
It is. I'm like, I wish I weren't working. Yeah, it's
I
the
know.
easiest thing in the world, and it's so fun. And I feel like there's so many stories to tell and so much to delve into. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I
why I
think
love
that's
this podcast because I
that's
get to
great.
see this side
Mhm.
of people. You know, you only get to see the character that Survivor wants to show you when they're on the
Mhm.
TV. But when we put them on this show, we get to see the whole.
Unfiltered. Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
Yeah.
we love you, Brian.
Love you so much, both of you. Mwah.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too, guys. Bye bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay. He made me cry. I think that might be a first. Have I cried? Oh no, wait. Lynn made me cry.
I was gonna say,
And you
Leslie,
probably
I
made
don't
me
know.
cry. I
The
don't remember. I
tears,
just
but
cry.
that is very sweet. And you know, Brian is one of the most genuine people that
Yeah.
I have met in not just Survivor, just in like in life, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. No, really a genuine cool guy. Oh, my heart is full, Courtney. I was thinking, like, I have a cold. I woke up today. I was like, oh no. But I was like, yeah, but at least it's Courtney and Brian.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. I felt the same. I was like, oh, it's like going to like to go have a drink. You know what I mean? So like, hang out. It's like my friends.
yeah.
So that's so nice. But
This
you
has been
know,
so fun. Thank you for filling in for Todd. I know he's missing it because we've talked and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry that I can't be there. But I'm trying so hard to give him the boundaries that he needs, you know, respect the boundaries that he's putting up. So I
yeah.
appreciate you stepping in.
Thank you. Yes, like I'm always happy to be the, you know, the back end of Todney.
Right. Okay, well, we're gonna quote you on that. No.
It's true. It's like, you know, but Leslie, you have that way. It's like if you ask for anything, like I feel like everybody says yes because like we all do love you. And what Brian said is so true. You are so beloved in the community. I believe the fans love you. You are a memorable character. Everybody knows you. So, you know, like Survivor's not just about, and this is for anyone who joins the family and plays in the future or has already played, like it's not necessarily just about what happens on the show. Like it's been 20 years and we're still over here yapping. So it's really like it's the experience is what you like bring to it, or you know, it doesn't matter in the end, like how you placed or whatever. It's like we're all in it, you know.
The show is like the first chapter, and then you get to write so many more chapters and bring so much more meaning to your experience if you want, or you can just disappear and nobody will ever see you again. You have choices.
That's true. There's also that, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes they'll find you no matter what. Our fans are like the CIA.
I'm having a very hard time finding Amanda. Everybody is asking for her, Courtney, and I cannot get her to respond. And I get it. I mean, I'm sure she's just moved on with her life, but man, I miss her. I mean, I felt very close to her on the show, but yeah, it's been hard. So not everybody's.
I do too, but you know what? It's like we have to save something for the future. Like, think of how fun that will be when she does come back, because she
Yeah.
will. She'll be back when she wants to.
She can't stay away forever.
She's
We're-
in it slow. And it's about, like, you know, your seasons of life. So, and it's also about respect. Like, let her be
Yes.
where she is.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
I respect it, but I'm sad. I miss her.
well,
So
if you're listening,
if you're
Amanda,
watching, which I'm probably sure you're not, but if you are, we would love to have you on the show. And if you don't want to be on the show, that's fine. Just call me and catch up. So anyway, and listen, if you're watching and you want to be a part of the Fans Have Spoken, we would love to hear your sweet little voice on our voicemail. The link is right there in the show notes. And you can also send us an email, beyondthetorch at gmail.com. And we will, I try to answer every email. So if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have somebody you want to see, let us know. We're all over the internet too. So you can find us on Facebook. We have a Instagram, and also I do have a TikTok, but I really suck at it. So I apologize, guys. I'm not great at that. But anyway, thank you for listening, and thanks for being a part of this community and tribe. And we will see you next time right here on Beyond the Torch.